Welcome to Books and Besties, the virtual book fair. Share this link with others and get ready for something awesome. Books and Besties, the virtual book fair.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. we bring you greetings from Books and Besties. This is the virtual book fair, and we hold this show. We hold this book fair every Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. And I'm your co-host, Dr. Angie BEE. I'm so full this morning. I was in prayer before we got started, and I'm just so grateful to God for his revelation, for him explaining things to me, for him showing things to me, and just for allowing me to have him in my life. He is my my all in all, and I'm so grateful. So if I'm still a little tearful today, please excuse me. It just comes the way it comes. So Books and Besties is here for you to introduce you to authors, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders, and community leaders. And I definitely appreciate the guests that come on our show every week. But even more so than the guests that join us, I appreciate my co host, Author Avalon S. Brown. She comes with a package full of experience, medical experience, book publishing experience. She just comes with so many beautiful items. Let me show you just one of the books that she has published. Mommy, why do I have a cold? Written by Avalon S. Brown. Dedications. This book is dedicated to all of my grandchildren. You are always coming to hug and kiss Nana, especially when you have runny noses, sneeze, or cough. Nana loves you. Let's work together to keep the germ population down.
Mommy, where do colds come from? Why do I have one?
Mommy, why do I have a cold? Written by Avalon S. Brown. Narrated by Sonia B., Sandra B., produced for audiobook by Angie BEE Productions, and narrated by me, the Queen Bee, Angie. That's it. Avalon has just a slew of books. And with this cold season that we've got, there are folks under inches of snow in certain parts of the country. So I thought that would be a good way to start off the show. Mommy, why do I have a cold? But listen, I'll be talking about her for hours on end. So let's bring in Author Avalon, my co-host.
Good morning. Happy New Year's, everyone. Good morning. Good
Happy
morning.
Happy New Year to you
Another
too,
blessed
honey.
year we're headed for.
We really are. We left a lot of stuff in last year. Left.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the weather like where you are?
Today is not too bad. Not yet. About 35 degrees.
Mm, mm,
Not bad.
mm.
We had snow last week, but it's all gone already.
That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. So, what are you looking forward to book wise this year?
Well, I have a couple of spiritual books that I am working on. I'm also working on a book about my son, when he had his ups and downs from, a childhood up to now becoming, a minister, from my point of view, how I felt, while he was going through all these trials and tribulations,
Mm,
addiction, homelessness, and now he's a minister. So
wow.
doing very well. He's a certified chef.
Oh,
So yes, I'm writing from my point of view, how I felt watching him go through this, over the years as a mother.
wow. A chef. Man, I know they eating good at his church.
I'll be eating good at his house.
That's so good. That's so good. That's amazing. But it kind of leads me to my next question. So many people go through things and we tell them you should write a book and they don't. Have you tried to convince him to write his own story?
Yes, he's jotted some things down, but I guess between work and everything, it's coming along slowly. He did put a chapter in our anthology. I thought I
Mhm.
was dead. He
Mhm.
about just the section about when he got shot.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I'm trying to get him to write his whole story, but it's taking a minute. So I guess in due time he'll have it out.
Mhm. Mhm. That's good. That's good. I'm
Because
glad.
only he knows exactly what he went through while he was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's got to be both humbling and embarrassing. There are some things in my life I don't want nobody to know about, but it's a testimony so that if
yeah,
somebody else is going through it, they can see, okay, I made it out. You can too.
yeah. He
So,
don't mind talking about it because, when he was out there, a lot of people know him from being out there.
I
How
got
he
you.
made it out. Yeah,
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I'm proud of you. Keep writing and I'll keep introducing it to everybody. I sure
yes.
will. So, all right, our first guest, Angela Bates, is here, and I think it's time for us to bring her in. Would you like to tell everybody about Angela?
Of course. Angie is a celebrity ghostwriter, author, coach, and former communication director, and the founder of The Right CEO. Since 2018, she's ghostwritten 11 Amazon bestsellers, 4 NYT bestsellers, and 300 speeches. She's helped bring powerful stories to life behind the scenes for best selling authors, leaders,
Mhm,
and creators. But
mhm,
her heart is really with aspiring writers who feel stuck. Her
mm,
love for storyteller runs deep, especially especially after helping her father bring his own book, Somerset Seasons of Change, to life, which
mm,
shifted how she sees legacy and authorship. Now, Angie teaches writers how to turn real life experiences into finished books through strategy, accountability, and confidence. She's launching the next chapter, a new virtual writing community for
wow.
authors ready to finally get their stories out on their heads
Whew,
onto page.
whew, whew. Welcome to the
Yes.
show. Welcome to the show, Sister Bates.
Saturday.
Hi.
Thank you, thank you. I'm like, who is she talking about? Thank you so much.
You.
That is wonderful. Helping somebody else bring their story out. That is
Yes,
wonderful.
thank you.
Mhm. Well, before we get started, tell us what city and state, where do you live, and what's exciting for you today?
Sure. So I live in the Houston, Texas area. I'm originally from Natchez, Mississippi. I always have to shout out my hometown, but I live in the Houston, Texas area. There, and your second question, you asked what I find exciting.
Yeah, yeah. What's exciting for you today?
Um, Today, lots of things. I'm on my fitness grind, so I actually went and did a 5 mile walk this morning and then went to the gym. So I'm excited about that, energized. It gives me energy and everything that I need to do what I love, which is write. So, yes.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. All right.
Yeah.
I know Avalon has a question or two. I'm going to let her get started.
So, what got you into being a ghostwriter?
So I always say that ghostwriting kind of chose me. I always liked to write. Even as a kid, I loved to read, write. I would read like 2 to 3 books at a time. By the time I was in fifth grade, I had read all of Shakespeare's works, Gone with the Wind, The Color Purple. And so at that point, my fifth grade teacher was like, well, maybe you should start writing, because I would tell her I'm running out of stuff to read. And, you know. So I started writing then. It was something that was just like a creative outlet for me. And then that turned into journaling over the years. Went into corporate America, and I would always, no matter what job I had, I always found myself writing. When people discovered, whether it was reading an email, like, oh, she can write. Can you write a newsletter or write a speech for the CEO or VP? And so, again, it was just a hobby. And so my dad, several years back, he started writing his memoir, and I didn't really take it serious. I'm going to be honest, And then one day I sat down and read the first draft, and I was like, wow. Number one, I was saying wow because he had gone through so many things that I never knew. Growing up in Mississippi, he was very active in the civil rights movement. Was shot in the line of duty as a police officer, survived that, went through a lot mentally and emotionally with that. And then eventually he moved the family, up to the Houston area, started his own business, worked multiple jobs. And the thing is, all the years that I struggled, like in corporate America, raising my children, I never knew what I came from. So I didn't know that I had all this strength in me. And so it became like a guide, like, okay, well, if my daddy did it, and, from what I'm learning, his dad, my granddad, my pawpaw, and then my great granddad, like, oh, okay, it's, the trouble at my job is nothing. I can survive. So the thing with that, I read it, and then my children started reading it, and then they had the same reaction, like, wow. And they learn what I've always heard growing up: nothing is new under the sun.
Right.
So everything repeats, but just different characteristics. So all that being said, I told him, I said, well, I write, so I'm going to help you bring this book to life. So I went to work revamping it, just pulling his story out of him and then rewriting it for him. And I don't think he thought that I was actually going to publish it. So the morning of his 75th birthday, we had a big party. We invited all my family from Tennessee, Mississippi, California, Arizona. So that was a surprise. But the evening before the party, I had like a little get together at my house, and I got this box. I like presentation. So I said, oh, can you help me open this box? I can't get it open. And so he pulls out his little ink pen and he opened it up, and there was his book.
Oh.
And I recorded it, but the look on his face, he was sitting right here in this chair. Wow. And then my mom standing there just like, oh my gosh, even from, I designed the cover, but seeing the look on his face.
Oh my goodness.
And, over the weeks when people would read it and they would call him or me like, oh my God, I never knew this. So that was when I said, okay, I already had established the right CEO, but it had a different function. At that point, I said, no, we've got to get our stories out, because this is our history and it needs to be told. I don't want anybody else to go through life, because, sometimes I felt alone going through what I went through, and then reading his story, I'm like, well, I'm John Bates's daughter. So if he did it, I know I can do it. So that was the beginning of me writing. And the funny thing, like, I'm a woman of faith. So I was praying to God, like, guide me. And he was very clear in telling me what he wanted to do. So in true Angie fashion, I did the opposite. When it did not work, I went back to corporate America, and each attempt bombed miserably.
Right.
So, finally I said, I'm going to answer your call, whatever stories you want me to help bring to light. And when I tell you he's bringing them in, and I'm like, hold on, let's pace. But so many people, we've gone through so much, whether it's women or, our culture, we've gone through a lot. And so right now, the right CEO is here to help bring those stories out and make our mark in history.
Nice.
Praise the Lord. Praise
Wow.
the Lord. That is wonderful. Listen, before we keep going, we got a couple of shout outs we need to do. Tammy Jones is watching. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for the heart. We appreciate you. And thanks to Angeline Swansberg. She shared this link with her besties. So her besties are now part of Books and Besties. So we appreciate you all, Natasha and Priscilla. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Listen, Angie, I want to put your contact information up on the screen. So
Sure.
would you prefer, which would you prefer, email or your website?
You can put my website up.
Okay, tell me what that is.
It is www.therightceo.com.
All right. And that way folks can get in touch with you. All
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
First question for you that someone has sent in is, tell us how to become a ghostwriter. What exactly is a ghostwriter?
Sure, that's, a question that I've been asked a lot lately. So I'm a ghostwriter, and I basically write behind the scenes. So, if someone comes to me and they say, I have a story, it's in my head, or I've written something, but I don't know how to piece it together to make it an actual book. That's where I come in, and I use my editing mind, and I make it creative. So I can take somebody saying I walk to the mailbox and just make it creative, make it readable, make it a bestseller. So a ghostwriter is someone who writes and publishes material for someone else without getting the credit per se.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Got it.
Yeah. Have you
Mm-hmm.
written any books of your own?
Not yet, but there is something in the works. I write for a lot of celebrities, film and television actors, and I keep telling them I'm going to compile some of this behind the scenes and write something. They're like, "Go ahead." So there's something coming from me.
Okay.
That is wonderful. Wonderful. All right, Angie, we're going to put you backstage for just a few minutes.
Okay.
I know we've got I know we've got more questions for you. I just want to give them time to come in, but oh my goodness, that is exciting. A ghostwriter to come in and make walking to the mailbox sound exciting.
Yeah. There's a lot of ghostwriters out there too.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Avalon, tell us about Dr. Lisa Marie Harris. She is here waiting to come in, and I want to hear more about her.
Dr. Harris is a licensed professional counselor, supervisor, and certified substance abuse counselor. Holding a PhD in psychology, she is the founder of Healing Season, a counseling and wellness center specializing in culturally responsive, trauma informed care with a focus on trauma related to colorism, race, and ethnicity. She also is the founder of Ladies Like Us, an organization dedicated to addressing the mental health challenges faced by women of color, and
Mm,
an active researcher with Colorism Institute. An
mm,
adjunct professor, published author, and sought after speaker, Dr. Harris is respected through leadership and advocate for holistic, faith informed mental health and wellness within the BIPOC community.
mm, mm. All right, Dr. Lisa Marie Harris, welcome to Books.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Wow. My first question, I know I'm trying to let Avalon ask her questions first, but my first question is, why do Black women have different challenges mental health wise than any other woman? Why are we different?
Well, we look at that as historical. So we look at the historical references that Black women have gone through and Black people as a whole, and when we're thinking about counseling, we look at Black women. We have that strong Black woman syndrome that we don't need anything, or we can't take a moment to take care of ourselves because we're taking care of everyone else. And so when
Everybody
we
else.
think about counseling, we have to take those things into consideration. And so one of the things I say is I'm taking the couch from the office to the community, to the women.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh man, I tell you, it's eye-opening. It's eye-opening. So tell us what city and state you're in, and
And
tell me something that you're excited about today.
yes, I am in Stafford, Virginia, a little 30 miles outside of DC. And I'm just excited about this opportunity. It's the start of the year. So my thing I've been saying midway through last year, God opened the doors, and I want to be ready to step in 2026. And this was a door that was open, and so I'm excited about this opportunity.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm excited about you too. Okay, I know Avalon has a question or two.
No, so tell us about, I see you have two different organizations. Tell us about those two that you founded.
Yeah, so Healing Season Wellness, it focuses on holistic health and mental health. I think one of the things we do that we focus on our health, especially this time of the year, but what about our mental health?
Mhm.
We often don't deal with that until, I won't say it's too late, but when we're having issues. And
Right.
so when God called me to this, and I say it's ministry, he said, I want my people to be healthy, holy, and whole. And I said, okay, God, I hear you. Where do I start? What do I do? And so he had me to focus on health. And that was eating, nutrition. So I'm also a certified wellness coach. And I asked, why health? He says, because people are more apt to deal with or take care of things that other people can see.
Right.
And they had the holy, most of we have the holy down, but now let's get the healthy. And so for years, I focused on health, and I intertwine mental health in that because it's all the same. They work in conjunction. But the last few years, especially after or during the pandemic, he says, now it's time to do the whole. Because once we get that piece into place, then we can be whole.
Body, mind, and spirit. Yeah,
Yes. How
absolutely.
about Ladies Like Us? What is that about?
Ladies Like Us is a faith based group for women. Just again, like I said, taking most people don't come to counseling. We have so many stigmas around mental health. And so I wanted to bring mental health in a way that women of faith could receive. And so last year, through Ladies Like Us, I started the Beauty Shop Talk. And the Beauty Shop Talk is where, those who grew up going to the beauty salon and beauty shop, we know that people felt comfortable. When women felt comfortable talking, and, they shared their thoughts and they gave good advice. But what about that mental health component? And so I created, through Ladies Like Us, the Beauty Shop Talk. And women come 6 weeks for free. And it's based on one of my books, which is Radiant Reflections. We go through those things. We talk about mental health. We talk about issues of colorism. We talk about family. We talk about generational things. But it's faith-based with scripture, and it's encouraging and it's supporting.
Mm, A
Nice.
6 week virtual program
Yes.
based upon your book. Oh,
One of my books, yes.
Wow.
oh my goodness.
How many books do you have?
I have 4, and I'm working on a couple of more.
Can we see? It looked like you had them near you.
I had to, because I forget. So this is the one that I'm promoting now. It's If I Can Just Make It to Church.
Oh,
Yes, that's the one I'm promoting now. That just came out in November. This Radiant Reflection is the one that I use when I work with the women. and it has journal prompts, scriptures, spaces to share. And we just go through that. This book is my first book when God told me to work with people on their health. It's called Rebuilding the Temple. And I looked at Nehemiah when he said, let's rise up and build. And so we were going to rise up and build from the inside out. And then my other one is the 5 pillars of wellness. And that on 5 key components that if they're out of balance, so it's your intimate relationships, your interpersonal relationships. How do you relate to yourself and other people? And then it had mental health, and then it had nutrition, it had health, and then it had physical health. All those things are important. And when something's out of balance, then it throws everything off.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
If your physical health is off, it can challenge you mentally. When am I going to get better? And how long is this going to take?
Absolutely.
When your mental health is off, your physical, it is all connected.
It's all connected.
It is. Yes.
Wow.
It's true. Yeah. Because
Amazing.
I know all I have to do is have a little something going on with my stomach and everything else is off. My equilibrium and everything else until my stomach straighten up. Then, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the one thing I deal a lot with issues of race and colorism and within the Black and Brown community. And that's one of the things that we focus on, just one part. If I can just stay healthy, but then we don't focus on the mental health part. And some of that's due to the historical racism, and the research shows that the historical racism, that's why a lot of people don't trust mental health providers. But still, there's still things in play now that people say, I just don't want to deal with mental health. So we leave that until it's in a place where sometimes we've gone so far that we can't get the help that we need. And I want to be able to address that. I want to be able to address the whole person.
And something to think about, because a lot of people probably don't even think when you don't feel good. Sometimes people are moody, they don't want to be bothered with people. They go into a whole nother phase, especially if it lasts more than 2 or 3 days. Yeah, I can see how that is needed.
Such a blessing that that your ministry focuses on us. Focuses on us. Thank you so much. Listen, Dr. Lisa, I'm going to put you backstage for just a minute, so that way we can give folks time to text us their questions. If you're listening or you're on YouTube or Facebook, the number that you can use is 407-914-6519. You can text your questions to 407-914-6519. Shout out to Sharice Johnson Moore. Thank you, Sharice, for joining us today on Books and Besties. If you have any questions, just let us know. Avalon and I are working on a new anthology, and this one is for men. We want to hear stories from men. So we're going to play this quick video and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Books and Besties. I've had wives and I've had friends, an anthology for women written by the men we are trying to love. Gentlemen, you are cordially invited to become an author by sharing your thoughts and experiences in our anthology. Tell us about your love for sports. Tell us about your love for grooming. Tell us about your love for gaming. Tell us what you want us to know. Submit your bio, headshot, and your story, along with the submission fee of $250. Send it to Author Avalon Brown 165 at yahoo.com, or you may send your info to Angie BEE Presents at gmail.com. An anthology for women written by the men we are trying to love. I've had wives and I've had friends. Brought to you by author Avalon S. Brown, and me, the Queen Bee, Dr. Angie BEE. Ooh, yeah, I've had wives and I've had friends. I got that title from a friend of mine, and he was kind of reminiscing about some things in his life that he wished his wives would have known. And I was like, well, why didn't you ever tell him? So that's where the concept for this anthology came from. We women are trying to love you men, but there's some sort of disconnect there. And so we want you to educate us, and you better take advantage of it, because sometimes we don't want to be we don't want anything else that we got to learn about. But with all seriousness, we would love to have your stories contributed to this anthology. And submission deadline isn't until the end of February, so we've got some time there. But Avalon and I really would be honored to share your stories. So I've had wives and I've had friends. If you have any questions, just get in touch with us. All right, Avalon, come on back in. I think the best thing to do would be to bring Angie Bates and Dr. Lisa back in, because I want them to be able to meet each other. So Angie, this is Dr. Lisa. Dr. Lisa, this is Angie.
Well, happy Saturday.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good.
Dr. Lisa, I want to put your contact information on the screen. So would you prefer a website or an email?
Yes, you can send it to my website. It's www.healingseason.net.
Healing Season, plural or singular?
Singular.
SEASONS.
No S.
Season. Oh, no S on the end. Okay, healingseason.net.
Yes.
Okay, I think I got you. And then we got the rightceo.com. Okay, gotcha. So, general question for Angie is, in your ghostwriting, do you also provide the editing, or is that separate?
No, in my ghostwriting, I also provide the editing. That's a major piece that people sometimes forget when they write. So yes, it is included.
Okay. Yeah, we're big advocates over here at Books and Besties. Big advocates on having rounds and rounds of editing, because we writers know what we're trying to say. We don't know why y'all can't figure it out.
Exactly.
So that's good. That's good. Thank you for that. Dr. Lisa, someone wants to know, where is your doctor? Wait, let me read it correctly. What are you a doctor of? That's the way that question came through.
Mhm.
Oh, wait a minute. Can't hear you. Let me see if you're on mute. I think
Can you hear me?
yes, now we can. Yes.
Yes, I have a PhD in psychology.
Psychology. Okay. Yeah.
I also have a ND, naturopathy, the study of natural health and wellness.
So that's body and mind. That's good. Do you ladies have any questions for either one of us or each other?
Well, I will. How did Books and Besties get started? I think that's such a wonderful idea.
I think this is this our third? No, this might be our fourth year. When Books and Besties first started, it was a 4-hour broadcast that we would do once a month. And our goal was to showcase our clients. Angie BEE Productions creates podcasts, commercials, flyers, we do interviews, but most importantly, we produce audiobooks. And so when our clients' audiobooks were ready, we would showcase their commercials and we would interview them. So it started out being a 4-hour marathon once a month of let me see how much I can drink, so, so that I don't lose my voice. But eventually, Avalon came on board, and we had so many people that wanted to be guests. Oh, there you are, Avalon. There you are. We had so many guests that 4 hours once a month wasn't enough. We ended up, I guess it's been 2 years now that we've been doing this Avalon Books and Besties.
Yes, just out. Yeah.
Yep. So we decided we were going to commit a couple of hours on a Saturday to interview people, and it has become such a bright spot where people can start out their weekend. We've had we've had viewers that say they are cooking or cleaning and listening to Books and Besties, and they love the diversity. Sometimes we've got authors, sometimes we've got ministry leaders, community leaders. So that's how it got started. We wanted to have a platform where people can come in and not feel that they have to have everything perfect. Just come in casually, where they didn't have to pay to be on the show, and another place where we could promote our clients, those that we're helping to write books, those that we did their audiobooks for them, those that have testimonies. We definitely wanted to do that. Did I miss anything, Avalon?
No.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah, it makes a difference. You can go anybody can start a podcast, and anybody can be a guest on a podcast, but it's the connection that we try to make. When Avalon reaches out to you guys initially, that's our way of connecting with you. And then when she gets you scheduled and gets the link, we don't want we want it to be a smooth transition. And uh, that is my prayer, every Saturday morning. Lord, let us reveal you in the midst of this. Let us introduce someone to you in the midst of this, and let it look seamless, because we want more people to share their stories and their testimonies. So it makes a difference.
Mhm.
Avalon, we need to be where they are. They don't look all bundled up like we are. We got on our turtlenecks
I
and our
know.
hat.
I'm in
Yeah.
Jersey, so they know what Jersey's like. I'm
Yeah,
in
yeah. We
Jersey.
having a cold snap in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm all bundled up for it. Yeah.
Wow,
I
it's
heard
supposed
Angie
to be in
said that she's
Vegas.
originally from Mississippi. Angie, you say you're originally from
I
Mississippi.
am Natchez,
Are you
Mississippi.
connected to Are you connected to any of the Love family?
The Love family. I know
Mhm.
some individuals in the Love family, but not by relation. I don't think, because you know how Mississippi can be.
Okay, because I'm part of the Love family. That's why I asked.
Nice, nice. Okay, we
If I
may be cousins.
We could be. It's a
That
lot of them there.
Yeah, I've actually been in my doctor's office and met a cousin, a long lost cousin. So you never know.
Yes.
Yeah. What part of Mississippi?
They're all out. They're spread out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We may find that we're cousins.
hmm That's what I thought about when you said Mississippi.
Yeah.
I thought
It's
about
a big
Slaughter,
history.
Mississippi. That's where my
Yeah,
grandmother's from,
yeah.
Slaughter, Mississippi.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
have a large history in Mississippi, a large, very large.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it originates to the Choctaw tribe. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Very deep history. A lot of
hmm
things that people don't even know. I'm still discovering things, but very historical place. If you
Yeah.
guys haven't been, you should visit.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Mm-hmm. All right, it's time for another commercial break. So I'm going to put you ladies backstage for just a minute, and we will be back with more Books and Besties in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is Author Avalon S Brown. I am the visionary of this project. Recently, I've been speaking to different nurses who have been expressing and voicing their challenges and their frustration while working in the field. So I decided to reach out to different nurses from different specialties and bring them together to create a book so that they can write about their experiences, their challenges, their frustrations that they experienced in nursing and how they overcame them and why those challenges did not make them quit. This is going to be a very important book for the next generation of nurses because they can see that they are not alone out there. The nurses before you have gone through these same type of challenges, these same frustration, but they never allowed it to make them quit because nursing is their passion. And this is what we want you to know. Keep your passion. Never let them make you quit.
Audiobook produced and promoted by Angie BEE Productions. If you or someone you know needs help coping with depression, anxiety, or PTSD, overcoming low self-esteem, or managing major life transitions, we invite you to schedule a free consultation call for telehealth clients. Shakana Downs, licensed clinical social worker, is now accepting new telehealth clients. In the office, too. Schedule a free consultation by calling 386-385-4483. That's 386-385-4483. In the brand new Daytona Beach office as well. 50 to 60-minute individual therapy sessions and a variety of insurance plans are accepted. Couples therapy and coaching is coming soon. We invite you to log on to cjaqis.com. Schedule a free consultation by calling 386-385-4483. That's 386-385-4483.
Ma, 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 ma.
We parents need to understand that our children may know the pitfalls that we taught them, yet they will sometimes have to drag themselves out of their own pits in order to learn to reach up for God instead of reaching up for us, steering them in the direction of God Almighty. That is the best way to raise an adult child. Why hearing God's voice is essential to motherhood. Written by evangelist Angie BEE and published by Ladero Press.
Ma.
I tell you, that was one of my first books, and it still puts a smile on my face to hear my daughter yelling, "Ma." It really does. So, Avalon, come on back in. I'm excited about our two guests, Avalon. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we got to bring you ladies back in, Angie and Dr. Lisa, because we've got questions for both of you that have come in. Okay, first question and is for Dr. Lisa, and I think you may have addressed it already, but the question is, why put the emphasis on Black women? Why not just women in general?
The emphasis on Black women has to do with like that historical racism, stigmas that still keep women from, and not all women, but keep a lot of women from attending professional counseling. Wanted to meet them where they are. Being a Black woman, uh, I was able to be able to approach them in a way that they would be more accepting. And we have to think about how we say things, because we look at culture. So how I might say something to a Black woman, and I'm not assuming that we have the same culture, but I'm respecting them and I'm getting to know that. And so that's why Black women. And I work with Black men too, but specifically when I work with issues of colorism, I work with women.
Okay. That helps. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Angie, your question is okay. Hold on. I just had it. I just had I just had oh, how do I get my child to read? You you talked about how you read so much as a child. So this audience member wants to know how they can get their child to read like you did.
So it was my paternal granddad. I call him Pawpaw. He actually could not read. So initially, and he owned his own company. So amazing man. So in the beginning, he would take me on work trips and have me read, and it came across as him bragging, like, "Look at my grandbaby, she can read." But it started with my imagination. I would always imagine things and he would tell me to write it. And then from there, he would tell me to read it. And he would say, "Well, do you think there's another little brown girl like you who likes, who's a tomboy?" And I would say, "Well, I don't know." And so we would go to the library, and my task would be find a little brown girl on a book that's like you. And so it became like kind of like a scavenger hunt. And then, of course, I had to read the book to get my ice cream. So it worked. And I was a little bit addicted to ice cream for a minute, but it worked.
Oh, whatever worked. Oh, that is wonderful. Wonderful. I know Avalon has written a series of children's books. And Avalon, how are you convincing your grandchildren to read your books?
Because the books are about them.
Oh.
So that makes sense. They're the character in the book. So that makes them want to read what I wrote about them.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. So we got. I hope our audience member is listening. We got two good ways to encourage your children to read. Write a book about them and bribe them with ice cream. We want to give a shout out to Evangelist Karan. She says good morning. And Casey Ferran says she's so proud of these ladies. So thank you so much for joining us on YouTube today, Casey. It is a pleasure to have these two with us today. So, Dr. Lisa, tell us. You don't have to give it all away, but you said you're working on a couple new projects. Can you tell us about them?
Yes. One, I'm working on a coloring book for Black and Brown children so that they can see themselves, so that it has storylines that empower them. It has families in it. So that should be coming hopefully sometime in the summer. And I'm initially starting a book focusing on women in the Bible and their marriages.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I mean, both of them are going to be good, but yeah, everybody thinks they want a marriage like that one in the Bible, but no, that's some of those
You don't
Bible
want to do the
marriages.
work.
Oh my goodness. That's going to be fascinating. Fascinating. Okay, Angie, tell me what your first book is going to be about. I know eventually you're going to write one. What's the Lord put on your heart?
Absolutely. It is going to be loosely based on my early years when I was trying to figure out who I was, separate from what my parents and grandparents suggested I should be, the different struggles that I had, and then being a young married mother and then a young divorced mother of three, and just trying to figure that out. So it'll it'll have a lot of truth to it, but I'll add a little bit of creative license to it. But
Yeah.
it's coming. I'm excited about it.
But don't forget, Avalon and I can help you produce and promote your audiobook. So just let us know, because those that
Absolutely.
have ears, we got to give them something to hear. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I have a
now
question.
oh,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Angie.
Avalon.
No, I had a question for Angie. As a ghostwriter, because you're writing other people's books, have you ever had someone that kind of disagreed with what you wrote, or
Uh,
or-
well,
you know what I mean?
during
Like,
so yes, during
maybe
the
not
process.
disagree, but not happy. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't say not happy, but during the process, it's almost like interviewing. And if you've ever heard people say that for actors, they become the character, that's kind
Hmm.
of how it is with me. So usually, I'm meeting with the person, I'm picking up on their personality, their nuances. How do they sit in the chair? So by the time I get to writing, to actually bring in the story to them, hopefully it's real enough that they're like, oh, okay, you've captured it. But there have been times that they say, oh, not quite, or maybe it's too real. Let's back it up a little bit. But that's a part of the process. Every step of the
Okay.
way, I'm checking in, doing a pulse check, because I don't want to finish a book and then they tell me, oh, well, in chapter one. Mm-mm. So every
Okay.
step of the way, as I'm writing chapters, I'm in constant communication. Or if I have a new idea, like, I know you mentioned you went through this, I don't think it's going to read well. How about if we kind of, change, switch it up a little bit, or maybe
Hmm.
introduce it in a different way? So, thinking outside of the box gets us over that.
Right. Right.
Mm, absolutely fascinating. Fascinating. Tell us about your grandfather. You said he didn't read, but he was still an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. So he could not read. He grew up a sharecropper and left school early on because he had to work. My great grandparents had a farm and he had to work. They had to eat. So, but he was really good with his hands, and he took that carpentry expertise. He was self taught with that. When he was little, he would just try to put things together. He could look at a box and say, okay, I'm going to build this. So he took that, went to work for a different company, a white-owned company in Natchez, and from there wasn't happy with how he was treated. He was also a civil rights activist, active in NAACP. So he started his own. He started, saying, I can do this. So actually, the home that my father grew up in, my grandfather built by hand, and it's still standing. We have furniture in the family that he's built. So he didn't know how to read words, but he knew how to count money. And an important part of being a business owner, and he knew how to make architectural designs and graphics.
Oh,
So that's where I would come in with the money. Like by the time I was 5, I knew 20, 5 20s, that's 100. So when they're paying me, so he was self-taught, but it's not that he didn't want or need to read, but he just never learned it.
hmm. But look at the gifts and talents that God gave
Yes.
him.
Exactly. Yeah.
I tell you, there are budding entrepreneurs out there, and they think their job is what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm not saying leave your job and start a business, because you need that job to kind of fund the business while
Right.
it's getting going. But be encouraged that we come from a lineage of strong, multi-talented people, and we just don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose that. We've got some more shout outs. Thanks to Kiana Long Hargret from Levi Long Sickle Cell Association. Thank you for joining us today from Daytona Beach, Florida. And Denise Walker over in Atlanta. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it. You are watching Books and Besties, and we have two fascinating authors and entrepreneurs on the show today, because once you're an author, you gotta you got to figure out how that book's going to make money. So that automatically turns you into an entrepreneur. But we've got two fabulous ladies on the show today. And one more question for both of you. This is a general question, but it's about family. How the question is, how are you passing your businesses along to your children? How are you planning to do that? Dr. Lisa, can you tell us?
Well, my children are adults, but from a very early age, I've had businesses. I, when my children were younger, I had a business called the Child's Party, which allowed me to take my children on these parties with me, where I dealt with, I did parties for children that were emotionally stimulating and addressed like fine motor skills and large motor skills in a fun way. So they've seen that. So both my children are entrepreneurs. My son, he does business. He has him and his friend has a animated show that they do. My daughter does a lot of different things. She does real estate. She does food prepping for others. So it's in the family.
Mm.
Wonderful. Yeah, well, we're going to have to convince them to incorporate your company into what it is they do and make it like a family business. You tell them I said that. Sister Angie, tell us how you plan to incorporate or leave your legacy to your children.
So I took a little note from my papa from his book, and from a very early age, my kids, they always liked a good party from the beginning. So, and I was a busy single mom, so it worked for me, but I would tell them, okay, you can have a birthday party, but you have to plan it, including if you want a balloon artist, find them. And I want 3 different balloon artists, give me prices. And so they learned to kind of write out proposals like in elementary school. And so they would present that to me. And then I would say, your friend's having a 13th. Or have you tried to help her plan it? And before you know it, I was like, oh, my little event planner, for my daughters and my son as well. He doesn't like for me to say that, but he can plan an excellent party. But from there, I would take their money, take them to the bank, let them open up a kitty account. And then I would just, kind of whisper in their ear, like, you're an entrepreneur. You just plan your friend's party. And now each of them have their own business ventures. My son is a personal trainer and a pro wrestler, building an amazing brand. And my daughters, they're both still in school, but they have businesses on the side to supplement their income. So I'm very proud because nobody's asking me for money.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Amen. That is wonderful. Thank you both for contributing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to introduce you ladies to the YEP program, Youth Entrepreneur Author Program. We are recruiting young people that want to become authors and entrepreneurs. And this next video will tell you more about it. So we'll talk about YEP when we get back and see how Dr. Lisa and Angie can be a part of this. We'll be right back. Please allow us to introduce you to one of the graduates of our YEP program.
Hi, I'm Sandra BEE. I live in Michigan. And yep, I'm an author.
YEP, Youth Entrepreneur Author Program. Our goal is to initiate literacy in students and lead them to entrepreneurship through authorship. Our mission is to identify and invite organizations to participate in this program. Students participate in virtual writing workshops where they are encouraged to write their stories and provide reviews of stories read. We ask you to support our youth. For a donation of only $50, your company or organization will be mentioned as a youth supporter in the next audiobook. Send an email to I'm an author at gmail.com to provide a scholarship for a young person to participate.
Yep, I'm an author.
Proceeds are accepted and disbursed by Angie BEE Productions. And now, these students are authors and entrepreneurs. Follow us online. Just search for Yep, I'm an Author on Facebook. Use the hashtag Yep, I'm an Author. Or call 407-914-6519. That's 407-914-6519 for more information. This program is sponsored in part by Angie BEE and Barty Productions.
Yep, I'm an author.
So shout out to Sandra BEE. She not only is an author, but she is an artist and she accepts commissions. I need to get her to do the illustrations for my children's book. I really need to talk to that, but she's so busy. It just, it takes a minute for me to, get in there and talk to her. But the Yep, I'm an Author program is now recruiting students that want to become authors and entrepreneurs. And so send that email to Yep, I'm an Author at gmail.com and search for Yep, I'm an Author on Facebook for more information. I'm excited about that. Okay, Avalon, come on back in. And Avalon, what do you think about doing an anthology? I know Dr. Lisa and Dr. Angie. Hey, Angie. I know that they're listening, but I'm going to ask you first. I love their energy and their similar paths. I think we need them to write something in an upcoming anthology. What do you think?
Sounds like a good plan to me.
We should ask them. We should ask them. So I'm gonna start out. Okay, ladies, come on back in. We're gonna start because we've been thinking about this book called The Winds of Change, and we've been thinking about it as an anthology where people can talk about how their life was going on one track and then something changed and it's on a different track. So Angie, tell us a little bit about how God turned you around and got you on a different path.
Ooh, I can relate. So, I mentioned earlier, he gave me a very clear directive. I was literally praying. I have a prayer closet, and I said, well, what do I talk to God like I talk to you guys. So I said, what do you want me to do? Not just today, but in life. And he was very clear, just right. And so, as I mentioned, I ignored it and I went back to corporate America. Didn't work out. So I went to another job and it didn't work out. And the very day that I said, I'm going to be obedient and listen, everything just immediately changed. And I even got a new passion for writing. So I can relate to that title for sure.
Wonderful. Yeah, the winds have changed. Okay, we're going to write your name down, send you information, Sister Angie. Okay, Dr. Lisa, tell us about how your life changed.
Yes, I would have to go back to my dad, who is mentioned in my book. Growing up, and he was a minister, as a pastor, and so, but he had this trauma with police officers. So he'd get ready for church, but he had this fear. So when a police officer drove behind us, he'd get to sweating and he, get antsy and he'd start yelling at us as kids sit down when we were already sitting. And as a child, my siblings and I laughed. We thought it was hilarious to see this change in this strong man. And when I became an adult and I had children, I got stopped by the police. And immediately I started feeling those things. And I said, no, that's not going to happen for me, because I saw it in my dad. And now I had some education. I knew exactly what it was. And so we had a different exchange with the police officers and my children, and it was a teachable moment. So The winds of change for me is a generational change where
Mm,
I had experienced something that impacted me as a child, but as an adult, I was able to address that. And then I was able to teach my children how you have a voice. You
right,
don't have to deal with trauma when you see police officers. This is how you can handle yourself. So that would be that winds of
right.
change.
Amen. Amen. All right. The
Wow.
winds of change. We got y'all down. Gonna start getting those stories together, and I'll play the commercial for that one later on. I just it just hit me that both of you are the prime example of what we're looking for to showcase people that are going along their own little way and then having to turn it around for reasons that only you could explain. So all right, that's good. That's good. Okay, next question for both of you came from a 407 number, so that's Central Florida, looks like. And they want to know, what entrepreneurial tips do you have? I want to start my own business. What tips do you have? Angie, you want to go first?
Sure. So I would say preparation is key. I'm a spontaneous person, and my first attempt, I kind of jumped out and it didn't go so well. So planning, a business plan, it doesn't have to be anything very formal. Just like Habakkuk, write the vision. So write down where you are, where you want to be, and then from there figure out what steps you need to take, whether it's taking on a part-time job, or definitely, keeping your day job until you can afford to leave. I think on social media, this culture kind of makes entrepreneurship look more glamorous than it is in the planning phase. And so a lot of people, my adult children included, thought they could just step out and, in a month they would have a penthouse. And so that's not the case. So definitely be realistic, but just write it down and, figure out from there, how do I get from point A to point B?
Okay, a business plan, not necessarily a formal plan, but some sort of list of instructions and a plan. Okay, got it. Dr. Lisa, what do you say?
Be consistent. It sounds good when you're first starting, but there's some long nights and some long days. And know that you might have some setbacks, but be consistent. If that's where your heart is, if that's what you're called to do, stick to it. Get a support system. A support system is very important because being an entrepreneur can be a lonely place. So have those people that you can bounce your ideas off, but also those people say, hey, you've been working a lot. Take a moment and take a step back.
Mm, mm. You got to be held accountable to take care of your body and your mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see that. I definitely see that. Avalon retired from over 40 years as a nurse. And I love to say this about her. She's got almost 40 books, probably, that she's done since she's retired. Tell us, how has that changed for you, Avalon, to go from that nursing to now being retired
Yeah.
and your own entrepreneur?
Well, I didn't foresee me getting into books the way I did after I retired, because nursing has always really been what I love. But because my knees could no longer handle it, I was trying to hold on, and I ended up getting a knee replacement. And I thought maybe I could still do something part time, but then my mind wanted to do it, but my body was just saying, no, you've had enough of nursing, politics, and everything that go on with nursing. Because, I had a lot of challenges, but I made it through. But then, I just started doing the books for myself. And then I met Angie, and we started doing anthology. I did my nursing anthology with other nurses talking about their challenge. And then Angie and I started doing anthology for others, and now I'm helping others publish their books once I learned how to self-publish. So I'm working with Angie, and we're doing that, and it seemed to have just taken off. And nursing is like forgotten. The only thing what I'm dealing with nursing now is making series books. I'm making book series of my experience and how to books and guide books, to guide other nurses how to do things. So I'm just into books right now, authorship, and I'm like a full-time author now. And I've kind of like forgotten about nursing besides putting my experiences. I no longer have the desire to go even work in the field. I feel like I've done enough.
Amen. You have done enough. You have definitely done enough. That is wonderful. Wonderful. All right, ladies, do you have any final questions for each other or us? Because we don't want to keep you the whole hour. We don't want to keep you too long, but what else is on your mind, Dr. Lisa, that we didn't address?
I would just say that my new book, if I can just make it to church, focuses on how clergy, because Black clergy are seen as the gatekeepers, to really get them to see that there's a need to address mental health within the Black church. And this book
Hmm.
gives them a guide on how to do that.
Hmm. Yeah, you got a point. I mean,
Yes.
if I got a yeast infection, I'm not going to my pastor. I'm going to the to the gynecologist. But it just seems like some people will take everything to the pastor, and the pastor's not equipped um, for everything. And so, but referring to them as the gatekeeper, that's a new concept for me. I hadn't thought of that.
So
So do you
historically,
do any coaching in the churches?
I do. I do coaching.
Okay.
I teach clergy and leaders how to recognize issues of mental health because we're not trying to take them out of that because people trust them. And so what I'm trying to do is equip them to know that this is my area of experience. And when it goes beyond that, what am I looking for? What are the signs of depression? What are the signs of anxiety? And when I see them, who in the community do I trust that I can
Mhm.
refer them to? So building community partnerships.
Mm,
Okay.
mhm.
Mhm.
Amazing, amazing. Angie, do you have anything finally that you'd like to contribute that we didn't address today?
Sure. So, because of my belief that we all have a story that really needs to be told, and I
Yeah.
do understand that not everybody may want a ghostwriter, so I've created a community, an online community of 3 months that will help those who have a story to share. It helps them write, teaches them how to self-publish, and then how to market their story. So that the first cohort begins in February of this year.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Once you get going with it, please get in touch with Avalon so we can have you back on the show so you can let us know how that's going. I love
Absolutely.
Yes.
that. I love that. I love that. Okay, ladies, we're gonna put you backstage. If you have to leave, we understand, but we'd love to have you stick around just in case we have some more questions that are coming in. So that is wonderful. Oh my goodness. All right, let's talk about the winds of change. I'm about to play the promo. Here we go. On April 1st, 2023, our father woke me up to begin this writing. As my computer awoke from sleep mode, a Facebook memory popped up. At first, I didn't want to read it and fall down that rabbit hole of clicking and reading and clicking and scrolling. I had spent March 31st in the ebbs and flows of life, receiving great news and experiencing greater stress. During my waking hours, I longed for a peaceful night of rest, and last night did not disappoint. Now I see how God has allowed me to begin my healing from the grief. A marriage separation is a precarious place to be. On one hand, you miss the good times you shared with another. On the other hand, You find yourself traveling the cycles of grief, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance as defined by a psychiatrist in 1969. This next part of my story made me smile, laugh, and rejoice over the memory. It made me see just how far I have come with my healing towards acceptance. The Winds of Change by evangelist Angie BEE. Yep, that's The Winds of Change. It's going to be an incredible project because it was given to me. I guess March will be 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And I've continued to meet people who can share a testimony of operating one way and God traversing them a completely different way, and they're pleased about that change. So we'd love to have your story on that we can showcase. We'd love to have your story in this upcoming anthology that we can showcase. So Avalon, we're going to bring you back in, and I want to ask you a couple of questions about your other book projects. We already talked about Mommy, Why Do I Have a Cold? And you recently republished that one, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did because it was under a publishing company, and I terminated it and put it under my
Good
own
for
name.
you. Good
Yeah, I
for you.
revised it, put it under my name.
Good
Yes.
for you. Good for you. More of a legacy for the kids. And then you've
Yes.
got That Needle Is Not For Me.
Yes, it was under the same publishing company, and I revised that one too, and put it under my name.
I love the
Yes,
illustrations. Those big wide eyes are just they just
yes.
capture you. Mhm. That is perfect. Perfect. And then here he is, Naeem in the
That's my
basketball
oldest
court.
grandson. Yes. That's a book about him saving the basketball court for the neighborhood. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I
Took me
love
a
it.
minute. Yeah, it took me a minute to figure out what to write about him until I realized he liked to play just for fun in the basketball with his friends.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think this one, From the Sandbox to Marriage, Faith and Ministry. Tell us about this one.
This is about mom and dad. You know, they met when they were 2 years old. They were on the same compound, and he told her then that she was going to be his wife, and she went out with other guys, just ignoring him. But somehow they end up married at the age of 16. They were in Georgia, and they end up getting married. And then they
Oh.
end up coming up to the north, and he went through a lot of things, some sickness and all that. But then he ended up being a minister because he always wanted to act like he was preaching since he was a little kid. So he
Oh.
he ended up becoming a bishop, founding his own church in 1964. Up until the time he passed in '93, and then mom came to live with me, and I took care of her up until she was 98, and she passed in her sleep. Yeah.
Wow. That is a beautiful tribute. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. And I have to admit, I'm excited about being in one of in your series of nursing books. Still, I
Well,
Care.
this one
Nurses.
is the anthology. This is not the
Yeah.
series,
Yeah.
and this is about nurse bullying. So much of that is going on now. Is just is unreal. You have to wonder why one nurse want to bully another, or why bully the new nurses coming in. But this is something going on. So I wanted to get stories from nurses that went through this bullying, did not allow it to quit, but they rose above the bullying. They became resilient, found a way to work through the bullying, and the bullies. Sometimes they had to step to the bullies and put them in their place, but they didn't let it stop them from working.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know I'm not in the nursing field, but from a patient's point of view, I was able to contribute to this one, and I thank you for that. I
Yes.
thank you for it. Thank you for it. And then, it's available on Amazon and also on your website, right? Uh,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Author Avalon S Brown.com.
All right, all right. We got another question that just came in, so I'm going to bring Angie and Dr. Lisa back. Y'all tired of me bringing you back in, but we still have these questions that are coming in. So, Angie, tell us, do you have any suggestions for someone who wants to write a memoir?
Sure. The best way to is to kind of create a timeline, maybe go in categories from early years to a particular age, like say 12. Some of my clients, I kind of block it that way to help that memory recall. But kind of go in blocks, like try to go back and say, okay, I'm gonna, if it's your entire life story, I'm going to write about, my elementary school years and try to remember key things, key people, key places, and then document that, put it in order, and then go on to the next phase and the next, and it'll come together.
Okay. All right. All right. Dr. Lisa, do you have any suggestions for someone who may want to write a book?
I'm of the same mind as Angie. Our stories are powerful and they don't get told enough. And so I would say look at your own life story or look at someone in your family and write that story based on that.
Mhm. Mhm. And then my whole thing is who would want to read my memoir other than my kids? But I always wonder that. How do you make your story interesting enough for a perfect stranger to want to buy it, to want to read it?
There is always an audience. I think initially my father may have had that thought, and he writes about his life in general, but there have been several different opportunities, whether it's civil rights, entrepreneurship, working in Hollywood, just different areas that people that his book has touched. And so never think that someone is not going to want to hear what you have to say. I mean,
Okay.
everybody wants and needs to hear it.
All right. All right. What do you think, Dr. Lisa?
No, I agree. Like I said, we all have a story, and there's people that do want to hear it. It's very interesting when people say, that part in your book, that's like just like me. And I'm like, oh, right? Because our stories converge. People have this not the same, but very similar stories. So even when I tell the story about my dad's experience with the police officers and my experience with this police officer, people are like, oh yeah, how do I talk to my child about my teenager that's driving? When a police car rides up behind them, what do they do? And so we can talk about the same thing, different experiences, but we talk about the same thing.
Hmm. Avalon, what you think?
Pretty much what they're saying. Yeah. Write if you have a story, like she said, jot it down in blocks, because I have written a memoir myself, one of my nursing and one of my life stories. So I just kind of did it in blocks of what was going on at the time.
Mm, put it down in blocks. All right. All right. We got some shout outs. Thanks to those of you that are watching us on YouTube live with evangelist Angie BEE. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, Sharice Johnson Moore, thank you for the thumbs up. We appreciate you for being here. And Tammy Jones remains with us today. So thank you for joining us on Books and Besties. Thank you so much. All right, next question. Praise God for the questions, because that means people. Okay, how are you selling your books? I want to sell more books. Do you have any advice? Dr. Lisa, let you go first.
Well, I think you have to find that niche. What market are you trying to reach? So for some of my books, I work with women. So I do Amazon, I go to events. Whenever I'm talking to someone, I'm talking about my book, right? I'm not trying to make them buy it, but I'm letting them know that there's information out there. So you have to put yourself out there to share your book.
Okay. All right. Angie, tell us what you're doing.
I agree with Dr. Lisa, and I've been talking about my dad's book. So he's on Amazon, the major retailers, and then he also sells from his website. But also, he's gotten a lot of good sales from police unions. He's a retired officer from Mississippi, and that was a surprise to us. They recognized him one year, and from there, we had all these different unions and organizations saying we want the book. Book clubs tend to like his book. So sometimes, like Dr. Lisa said, putting yourself out there and thinking outside of the box and not underestimating the audience that you have will get you the sales.
All right. Don't underestimate your audience. And there's always an audience for something that's in your book. Got it. Don't underestimate them. That is wonderful. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I pray that we encouraged you too, just like you guys have encouraged me. Thank you so much. Is there you have any final words, any final thoughts you'd like to share, Angie?
Just thank you both so much for the opportunity. I absolutely love what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing greater things especially for that youth program. That I'm like, oh, the youth writing. So, Godspeed on that.
Thank you so much. And if you have any young people that you'd like to recommend, just let us know. We'll get them enrolled. Thank you, Angie. You have any final thoughts, Dr. Lisa?
I agree. Just thank you both for the opportunity. What you're doing is amazing. And I think you guys just touch so many people, just having people on to share their stories. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you both. Thank you both. We appreciate it. Oh my goodness. This was absolutely wonderful, Avalon.
Yes.
Absolutely. I learned so much from both of them, even though their themes were even similar. The way they brought it to us was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. All right, it is time for us to talk about the necessity of editing. We try to put this emphasis out there at least once a month, and we want people to be able to publish something that people are going to want to read and going to want to listen to. So we're going to play this quick video on the necessity of editing, and then if you have any further questions, text them to 407-914-6519. All right, we'll be right back.
The necessity of editing. Hello, my name is Sonia, and I am a professional content editor. The difference between a proofreader and a content editor, as I have just recently learned, is care. A proofreader, though still respecting the boundaries of punctuation, which are very important, often will not clean up the statements that you have looped together and presented as a periodical. A content editor will read, proofread, punctuate, and clean up your content as necessary. Both are crucial, especially if you are nervous about your English skills. Today, I would like to talk to you a little bit about the necessity of editing. I am the type of person that catches the error before seeing the content. One of my biggest gripes is seeing an error on an obituary. What? Oh my goodness, these are the last words that anyone will ever read about you. Even in grief, spell check still works. I encourage you, write your own final words if you believe that your loved ones will leave grammatical and spelling errors unchecked. But I digress. In this time of artificial intelligence, I have found that our God-given intelligence has disappeared. Grammarly, ChatGPT, and those electronic assistants are convenient as a starter, kind of like a recipe for a dish. However, just like a good cook goes back and ensures they have included everything and even enhances that recipe, a great author still needs to go back over their work and finalize before completion. If you do not want to do that, I implore you to hire someone that will. A fresh eye makes a world of difference. The written word often shapes a picture of the author by the reader. When synonyms are used interchangeably, adverbs are tossed about incorrectly, and punctuation is just doing its own thing, an avid reader will lose interest in the plot and grow tired of making corrections in their head. Some authors happily pay a photographer or even an artist twice as much as the book is being sold for, just to ensure that their headshot catches the eye of the reader. However, their lack of having a second eye proofread and edit their liturgical baby leaves the reader of your masterpiece distracted and missing the point of the story. I will never forget mourning a grandparent. These arrangements of hers were taken over by a distant relative who was believed to be capable of handling this huge responsibility of presenting this decades-old life in a single 5x7 page. The misspellings of names, cities, and even occupations brought new tears to my eyes. Not only were some of these facts able to be easily researched, but the lack of care and concern before this final complimentary life story went to print was appalling. The necessity of editing is clear. I equate reading a book to watching a movie. However, you're able to place it on hold with a bookmark versus a streaming remote. Unlike a movie, the pause is controlled by your reader, not by the electronic device that allots you a full 3 minutes to pause your television stream, then return to the last spot that you were watching. A reader has the opportunity to turn the page or close the chapter, both literally and figuratively. No one wants to wade through a run-on yap session on a paper that left a dangling participle leading into a paragraph that begins, "The nectar day." What? Whose nectar? What day? Just like that, you've lost the attention of your reader. Sure, they may come back only to run into a new scenario that begins with two people speaking without proper identification, properly identified punctuation, and then this turns your reader's moment in time mental escape into a deep pondering chore, i.e. work. The AI assistants care nothing about punctuation. Their job is to lay out their opinion of what you'd like to hear and read, and your plight is to build on it while an editor's delight is to clean it up for the reader. The joy of a content editor is to take your raw thoughts, words, and emotion from babble to brilliance, from wondering to wonderful, from an unfinished read to a page-turning pleasure, Friends and family are excited that you have decided to delve into this new chapter, pun intended, of your life. So criticism about your incorrect usage of your versus your won't be shared with you. However, your audiobook narrator will find themselves starting over and over again, potentially losing that new reader joy that's expressed in their voice. It's gone, and so is the listening. In conclusion, nurture your book as one would anything born from their loins. Create, spell check, give it to your hired content editor. The passing of your book from your eyes to proofer eyes will correct your missings and enhance your musings. I personally care enough to make you sound your very best. I am Sonia B, and I approve this message.
Yes, Sonia B approves this message. I tell you, when she recorded that, we almost didn't put the closed captioning on the screen because the closed captioning had so many errors. It just was a problem. All the misspells or the wrong word in there. And if you were watching, you probably saw some of those errors. And what we did was we left them in there with the understanding that we have to recognize that AI is an assistant to writers, but it cannot be the last, what am I trying to say? It cannot be the last person whose eyes are on it, even though AI doesn't have eyes. But the more editing that we can do to a book project, the better. Let's not just rely on Grammarly. Let's not just rely on ChatGPT or any of the other editing tools that are out there. Let us rely on a good professional content editor. Let's rely on some other intelligent people that may also write a review. And let's do better about putting good content out there for people to read. Let's do that. And speaking of the necessity of editing, we also want to introduce you to Rooms Inside Her. This is an anthology where women are writing about a room inside of them. They're writing about something special. And it's in the editing process right now, but they do have room for one or two more stories. So let me let me play this one little video and we'll be back to discuss it further. Every woman has a room. Every story builds the house. Rooms Inside Her, an anthology. Rooms Inside Her will be a powerful anthology that explores the deeply personal, yet universally relatable stories of women from all walks of life. Purpose and impact is to celebrate the diverse voices of women and their experiences, regardless of background. Create a community of shared experiences, sparking conversations around identity, womanhood, healing, and triumph. Submission deadline is August 15th, 2025. Submission fee is $250. Send an email to sisterbatten@gmail.com, sisterbatten@gmail.com. Rooms Inside Her. We're also looking for readers that would like to read a book that's coming out. It hasn't been published yet, but it will be coming out, and write a review of it. this is a new year and new ideas. And so we're looking for people who don't mind having their reviews published in a book. And so I want to encourage you to contact us at angiebeeproductions@gmail.com. Send an email or send a text message 407-914-6519. Let us know if you're interested in reading a book project that we may be working on and writing a review. That review will actually be published in the book and it will become a part of the promotional projects. All right. One more special announcement for you.
Wake up and turn your Saturday all the way up with Mornings with Angie BEE. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. Angie BEE is bringing you the hottest and newest Christian hip-hop music with a message, beats that bless, and vibes that lift your spirit. Whether you're getting ready for the day or cruising through the weekend, Angie BEE's got your soundtrack, faith, fire, and flavor. Don't miss Mornings with the Queen Angie BEE every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. on City Worship Radio.
Christians Merging Together Ministry presents the second Women of God in Unity Working Together. Save the date, June 20th, 2026, Daytona Beach, Florida. For more information, visit Women of God IUWT. That's Women of God IUWT.com. All right, everybody. Want to let you also know about the Fresh Book Festival coming up later this month. Check out freshbookfestivals.net. That's an S on the end of the word festival. freshbookfestivals.net. We should have more information coming up within the next couple of weeks. But the Fresh Book Festival is the largest book festival of its kind in the state of Florida, and it takes place the last weekend in January. So Avalon and I will not be live the last Saturday in January because I'll be at the Fresh Book Festival. I'll pop in every now and then and go live, but we will not have Books and Besties that last Saturday of the month. I'm trying to do better about letting Avalon know when we've got, engagements on weekends. And so you will have a classic episode of Books and Besties to entertain you on that last Saturday. But check out freshbookfestivals.net. It is a powerful weekend that starts with a film festival. The film festival helps those authors that think their books need to be turned into a movie or even a TV show, but we are able to watch movies and do a question and answer with the writer, the producer, the director. It's just a powerful event. And then we've got the 2-day book festival in Daytona Beach, Florida. And it encompasses authors and publishers from the UK, from Africa, from all over, virtually, as well as about 30 authors that come from all across the country. And they're able to talk about their books, their projects. It's like a live version of Books and Besties, but just a lot more people. So shout out to Donna Gray Banks for bringing this for the past 15 years. I'm looking forward to being there. Okay, let me bring Avalon back in. Avalon, man, we got a lot going on, don't we?
Yes, we
My radio show is now on Saturday mornings from 8 to 10, right before Books and Besties. And I'm grateful for City Worship Radio for picking up the show. It's the third network now, the third radio station that airs my show. So thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. What you got going coming up, Avalon, now that the holidays are over?
Nothing much besides working on the books, helping others work on their books. Nothing particular that I put in place yet.
That's
It's
good
just
because we got to get
begun.
these books. We got to get these books
Yeah,
out. So that's good. That's good. Mhm. That's
just
good. I'm
begun.
happy. Yep. Well, I want to talk about um the I've had wives and I've had friends. Now, we do have a question that's come in from Casey, and I'm gonna address that in a minute. But somebody wants to know, is this a book that only men can contribute to? And I said, well, let me ask Avalon. What do you think? The I've had wives and I've had friends. Should we let women be in this book or only men?
I think we haven't done anything with the men. So if we can keep this for the men, we have other books that they can get into,
Mm-hmm.
contribute to, but we'd like to at least put one anthology out there dealing with the men.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if the women want to contribute some kind of way, they can write a review before we publish it. They can read certain excerpts of it, and we can put their reviews in the book. But you're right. I agree. We don't have anything just for the men, so we're gonna keep it that way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, Avalon, got a question I think you and I need to try to tackle. Where do you find inspiration through writer's block? I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I haven't really experienced writer's block,
Mm,
so that's like a hard question for me to answer because once I get an idea, my mind just starts spinning and it just keeps
mhm.
going. So I really haven't had the writer's block.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it depends on what they're writing about, but each thing I write about has something to do with me or something I've experienced or something I've seen. So when that
Right.
idea hits my head, it just goes.
That's
Just
right.
goes.
That's right. That's right. Well, Casey, what I end up doing if I get stuck is I look up a scripture. Sometimes I just open up my Bible and whatever it opens up to is where I'm going to go. And sometimes reading something in scripture uh, helps me redirect to what needs to come next. All of my books are considered Christian books. They all contain scripture and they all contain a testimony, but I think going back to the Bible helps me to at least remember that I write these books to glorify God. So if there's a story in the Bible that glorifies him, I look and see how it relates to me or how it relates to the next portion of what is supposed to be that book. So that gets me out of writer's block. And then I've got the same thing that Avalon has going on. Once you get started, it's spinning out of control. Once you get started, it's going. And sometimes you need to know when to stop.
True.
So yeah, sometimes you need to know. So thank you for that question. Thank you. And we appreciate you for being here. Okay, our last guest for the day is Eric LaRose, and he has chimed in. So, Avalon, can you tell us about Brother Eric?
Eric LaRose Sr. is a Gulf War veteran and an author of the memoir Desert Sands, Stranded After the Gulf War. In his powerful story, Eric shares a journey from growing up in New Orleans to surviving in the deserts of the Middle East, where he became one of the 199 soldiers stranded in Kuwait after the war ended. Rooted in faith, resilience, and redemption, his story reflects on how hardship can lead to healing, gratitude, and a renewed commitment to living with purpose. His
Mm,
memoir was released in November 2025.
mm, mm, mm. Brother Eric, welcome to Books and Besties. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, you and 199. Tell us about that.
Well, it was during the Persian Gulf War, where we were stationed in Iraq.
Mhm.
During the war was going on, and the war ended, but we wasn't informed that the war had ended. They left. They set us up. They left us out there, and we was out there for months before we
Jeez,
found out the war had actually ended.
that sounds like some Juneteenth foolishness.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
It just so happened a reporter was just out there doing a report, and he stumbled on us and asked us what we was doing out there, and we said, "Well, we out here for the war." He said, "The war is over. Everybody home."
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but
Everybody
everybody was home
home.
except us.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
That would have made me curse, I think.
Well, it actually made a few of us curse.
I'm
Oh,
sure it
Brother
did.
Eric.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, but the book basically it just tells my journey through life, college, and how I got to the military, and the after effects of war, dealing with PTSD.
Mm. Now, how does our government support you through this travesty, leaving you out there now having PTSD? What has our government done to help support your healing through all that?
Well, I'm not gonna say the government hasn't done anything. You know, you basically have to do your own work through the VA, and it's a fight.
Mm,
It's a major fight trying to get disability for your problems.
Mm-mm.
it's true. Yeah. My nephew
Mm-mm.
went through that, so I know it is.
Mm-mm. Well, sir, I know I just jumped right in and asked the first question off the top of my head, but Avalon may have a question or two, and so we'll let her
Yes.
go ahead.
Well, I mean, you kind of like explain. It's kind of obvious what had gone on, but I mean, how are you dealing with it at this moment? Like with the PTSD, are they sending you to a lot of doctors, or are they helping you, or I
Yes.
know with my nephew, he's like, to me, because I'm a nurse, I seem like he's under too much medication.
Mm,
Yes. They make sure we have enough meds.
mm,
I see a psychiatrist monthly. They keep the medicine flowing. And that's basically all they do. You know, they got a few support groups I'm in that I go to and talk with other veterans, that kind of ease your mind a little, but it's really nothing more you can do about it because it
Right.
sticks with you.
It does. It does. Because I
mm,
know, I started talking to him more once I, found out he was nearby. And it's almost like he believed what the doctors are telling him, and I told him, you're not crazy. Half of your stuff, is from the medication that you're giving, you know, because a lot of times, how can I explain it? But I know it's from the medication, one thing messing with another. I put it like that.
mm.
When it
Well,
comes to his mind, it
when
may
you
not the
when
same
you
situation.
when you're taking over 10 pills,
Oh, Jesus.
it kind of weigh on, because
Jesus.
we have meds for everything, and it becomes a lot.
Yeah. And he talks to me about it. And, some things, he'll call me, Auntie, look this up. Auntie, look that up. And it's like, to me, it's just over medicated.
Well,
Some things are necessary, but some things don't. I'm just saying from my perspective.
right. That's the government's way. They
Mhm.
figure they keep you on these pills,
Yeah.
and they assume it'll all work out. But at the end,
Yeah.
it's more than just the pills.
Yeah. And
You,
some of
you,
it is to get help. If you don't do this or if you don't do that, you don't get the help that you really need.
right, right. You
Right?
correct.
Yeah.
You're correct. Definitely correct.
You're kind of
But
forced to go to these doctors.
you have to make your appointments.
Mm-hmm.
It's a must.
Why write a book? Why did you write this book, Eric?
Basically, I wrote my book. I wanted to put my story out to see if I can help other veterans that's dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with. Because as men, and I'm a Marine, we was taught, we don't feel pain, we don't feel fear. We men, so we don't chump up. So we just take it and keep going.
Wow.
So I figured I wrote this book to see if I can help some other veterans that's dealing with the same thing who feel they can handle it on their own, but you really can't. You need help.
Right.
You need some type of help.
Was it the reporter that helped you get home? Help y'all get home?
Yes. The reporter, he made contact to whoever he contacted, and the next day they was picking us up.
Oh my God.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Just that
Because
quick.
we wasn't supposed to be out there. Everybody was home except us.
And tell us again, how long from the end of the war to
From the end of the war to the time, I think we was out there for about 6 months. Just sitting in the middle of the desert.
What?
My God. And your book just came out?
It hasn't released yet, but it should be out at the end of the month.
All right. Let me put your contact information up on the screen. Do you want people to email you or call you, or is there a website?
Yeah, they can email me at ericCLaRoseSenior.com.
Okay. Eric C. LaRose.com.
That's senior.com.
Oh, senior. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got all the book information. You can purchase the book there, and you can get in touch with me on that on that website.
Okay, that's good. That is good to know. Now, what city and state are you in?
I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana.
All right.
You ever been to New Orleans?
No, I look forward to. I'm gonna go grab Avalon and we'll come down and harass you a little bit.
Yeah, come on down. Right now we about to jump off into Mardi Gras season.
Oh goodness. Music and food.
Yeah. Well, that's every day. That's everyday living here.
That's good.
So in your book, do you talk about your family or how your family felt about this?
Yes. Basically in the book, it tells my journey from a little boy growing up from the East Bank, moving to the West Bank, going to school on the West Bank, making friends, leaving there, going to college, going to Southern University. Went to Southern for a couple of years, then I joined the Marines. During my time at Southern, being young, not knowing much, think I know it all. Got into a little trouble. So my uncle's in the Marines, and he always talked about the Marines. So I say, you know what? I need to get away. So me and one of my friends, we went on a buddy system, and I joined the Marine, and that was the best thing I ever did.
Yes.
Wow, nice.
Sometimes you got to get away from home. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
To get
going down
things.
the wrong road.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find a way to escape.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just escape into other trouble.
Uh-oh.
He said other trouble. That is
So
wonderful.
you weren't in touch with your family at all while you were stranded there?
We received letters, but the mail process is like, if you wrote me a letter in January, I might get it in March.
Mm.
So the mail was just slow, but it kept us motivated, kept us going, which, time you get a letter is old news,
Mm-hmm.
So your family weren't aware that the war was over either?
Well, they were aware of that the war was over, but there was one wondering what was going on with us.
What was taking so long? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody was aware that it was over, but it's like we see all these different troops and all these people coming, putting on the news, oh, they home, but we wasn't home yet.
Mm-mm. 6 months.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And the desert get hot during the summer.
Oh, goodness. I tell you, we got to be our own advocate sometimes. We think we can just rely on somebody else to take care of things and realize we the last thing they thinking about. That's a shame. That's a darn shame.
Yeah. But right now I have a great support system. I have my wife. She's my backbone. She keeps me grounded. So Lil, she tried. She keeps me grounded, Lil.
Good.
And I see your faith. I saw you mention faith, and you're rooted in faith. That helps a lot too, I'm sure.
Oh yes, that's definite. Can't do nothing without him. He's first. He's the head.
Good. So, what keeps you busy now that you're home? And we understand that you're writing, and that's probably very therapeutic. But what keeps you busy now that you're home?
Believe it or not, I have a lot of honeydews.
You go, girl. She back there somewhere. You go, girl. You keep him busy with his honeydew list.
Yeah, the honeydew list don't stop. So that keeps me busy. Outside, my veterans group. I have, also I'm a part of the Masons and the Shriners. So I have a few things going on.
That's good.
And also I can't forget to mention Casey. That's the lady that's helped me get to where I need to be.
Oh, your publisher?
Yes.
Good. How did you connect with Casey?
Actually, my wife found her and got in touch with her when we was going through the process of getting the book done. But she's been a great help.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I met her through a webinar, yes.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
We need to have Casey come on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at to let her know.
That would be good. What do you want people to take away from your book when people read it? What do you want them to take away?
I want them to feel what I went through. I want them to, experience. You can't actually experience it, but you could take that journey that I went on. And understand, because most people, when you say they've been in the military, they crazy. They're not crazy. but it's you gotta realize when you go through a war and you're actually fighting in a war, you're being shot at, you're being bombed. You see things that you you wouldn't see on a regular. It sticks with you.
Yeah.
You know, you don't forget that.
We've got a viewer that has expressed a question, and some of it you may have touched on, but how do you feel about being left there, and how did you guys eventually get home?
Yeah, this is gonna be a funny story. Being left there, you know, at that time, you know, we soldiers, we Marines. So I guess in our mind, that was just part of being in the service. But once everything went down and they realized we was left out there, they got us back to a base. And believe it or not, the planes that's brought us home was Trump Airline.
What?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
So it was a funny story.
Oh my goodness, not even Trump Airlines brought you home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was something.
Oh my goodness. And then you've got somebody who claims that you are their uncle. Glenn Zio15 on YouTube says, that's my uncle.
Oh, yeah. Right, well, how you doing now?
Wow. I tell you, I don't know what I would have done. Well, it's the same with Juneteenth. I don't know what I would have done if somebody came and told me I wasn't a slave no more. I wouldn't know what I have done if somebody told me my job was over 6 months ago and I just been left out here. And I guess that's why I haven't experienced that, because I don't know what you.
Right.
All right, well, it's not nothing you want to experience, you know. But you know, when you volunteer your services to the military, it's your duty.
Right.
So, we didn't want to be left out there. We wanted to be home like everybody else, you know, because meals were scarce. You know, showers were scarce. It wasn't, you know, living in the desert, in the wilderness is what it is. Wilderness.
Yeah.
You don't know when you're gonna get your next meal. Yeah. Every shower is cold. It's just the brotherhood that we built out there kept us going.
Okay. And that was going to be our next question. Are you still in touch with some of them?
Yes, we have a group. We meet up like monthly. We do outings or whatever, get together. Some dudes that's in our unit, they're still going, you know.
That's good. That's good. All right, nephew, your uncle's book will be out real soon. You want to write a review for your uncle?
Yeah, write a review.
Write a review. And I'm so grateful that you shared this testimony. I'm so grateful.
I'm glad you had me on.
Do you have any closing comments that maybe we didn't address? Anything else you want our audience to know?
No, I think we covered it all. Just, you know, go to my website, ericlarosesenior.com. Put your pre-order in, and hopefully these books will be out at the end of the month.
All right.
Yes.
It's a journey.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for being a highlight of my day. Praise God.
Thank you for having me on. God is good.
Yes, he is all the time. All right. Stay in touch. We'll have you on again once your book is out.
Okay. I look forward to it.
All right. Bye-bye. Ooh, Avalon. What a powerful testimony.
Yes. Can't even imagine that. Wow.
Lord have mercy. And the fact that he said the families were even wondering, how come all these other people home, but my loved one ain't home yet?
Hasn't come in yet. Yeah. Because I'm sure they're showing it on TV and the internet. It's
like, that's a mess.
What's going on? Yeah.
Well, everybody, we appreciate you for hanging in there with us. Casey, thank you so much for your questions and for participating. We are grateful. And if it is the Lord's will, we'll be back with another episode of Books and Besties. We promise you, we'll be back, everybody. We'll be back. Avalon, thank you so much, dear. I
Have a good
appreciate it.
afternoon, everybody.
All right, you too, dear. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.